We're making happy birthday cookies. The Rockin' Hard frosting I just have in a bowl. Oftentimes it has lumps and I want to get those lumps out before I begin. So I'll either use my fingers and I will just squish the lump like that, or I'll take the back of a spoon and just kind of go in there and smash out all the lumps, because who likes lumpy icing, lumpy frosting? I do not. And all the lumps out. This is approximately 1 cup of the Rockin' Hard frosting. And to that, the recipe says, let's look at the recipe. The recipe says, at least for the cupcake swirl, to add a cup of dry mix, add 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of water. That's what I've got here. I'm going to put it in. We're going to start with this. And I notice I have to stir, you have to stir kind of a lot in order for the Rockin' Hard frosting to get saturated. And you're just going to keep adding water in little bits. This really is frosting consistency. It's probably going to be a little thick for what I want to do. Just going to grab a little bit. The reason I'm using frosting instead of icing is because, I mean, there's no real intricate work going on here that I have to have like grain-free icing or anything. For the sprinkles, I'm just smashing them on top of the frosting. So who cares if it's grain-free under there or original icing or frosting? It dries quicker too, the frosting. In fact, I was checking out the drying times. I was quite shocked to see the drying times. Let me show you. The Rockin' Hard frosting dries, air dry 6 to 12 hours. See, 6 to 12 hours for the frosting, and that dries the quickest. Then we have our original icing, and the original icing is air dry 12 to 24 hours. And then what takes the longest, if you guys don't already know this, if you don't already have these products, just so you know, the grain-free icing is lovely, but it's air drying in 24 to 48 hours. That's a long time to wait. The grain-free icing is nice because if you want to put the label on, grain-free, or market it as such, you don't want grain products in your icing. So for that, it's great. It also does leave a bit of a shiny texture on the surface. The grain-free does, so I like it for that. But it does take forever to dry. It's also the most expensive icing or frosting nut pastries for pets carries. Fun fact. Okay, so we're mixing this up. And the longer it sits, actually, the thicker it gets. I think just more, it gets, the water gets absorbed more the longer it sits. So I even need to add more water to this. I'm not getting crazy. I'm just going to pipe on some candles, really. And if you don't already sell happy birthday cookies or something to celebrate a dog's birthday, I encourage you to. Humans love to celebrate their dog's birthday. They have dog parties. Gosh, people just get so crazy. It's like a thing now. It's like a full-fledged thing. I even think this needs to be thinner. I'm just adding little drops at a time, seriously. Because once you add too much, then you have to add obviously more of the mix. Okay, I think I can work with this. Okay. And by the way, the cookie cutter that I'm using for this is a birthday cake cookie cutter from Ann Clark. Love Ann Clark stuff. She works in stainless steel, and her stuff is really strong. I mean, I know you could squish this, but compared to what's on the market, her stuff is really strong. I've got a couple of different colors going on because I have a couple of different kinds of happy birthday cookies I want to make. Normally, this is my go-to is the sprinkles, the rainbow sprinkles. But I like to do pink. I like to do blue. I like to do, yellow or whatever. Not everyone is into one color. So I have a few different colors that I like. So I have a few different colors here. And I've measured out, generally, this is about maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon per color. Here I've got dragon fruit powder. I've got spirulina. I've got butterfly pea. And then I've got, for the candles, a little bit of beetroot and a little bit of turmeric. So to this, we're just going to add a scoop. And I want to keep some white. so that I can decorate the cookies with. Why I didn't bring more spoons is beyond me. So I guess I'm going to use a chopstick. I guess you have to do what you have to do, right? So here I am just using a chopstick to mix up my colors. And again, if your natural color has any lumps in it, try to get those lumps out with your fingers or the back of a spoon before you start mixing. Your life will be easier. It just will. And I started out with a very small amount because I wasn't sure exactly how the pink would work or how the colors would work, right? So I just started out with a real small amount. Shame on me for not actually having a spoon. Well, this is really on the light side. I'm just going to keep mixing a little bit more. So the pink is kind of lackluster, but really this pink will be uh to press the sprinkles on. So I just want a little bit of pink icing right behind it. It's not very pink, but it will do. No worries there. All right, so let's mix up. This is the beetroot with a little bit of turmeric powder for the candles. I'm hoping this makes orange. I used about 1/8 of a teaspoon of most of the colors, the turmeric a little bit less. This is probably going to be completely red. This will be the flame. Turmeric, a beautiful spice. You might even have some in your kitchen. But this is the best way I found to make orange is a little bit of beetroot, a little bit of turmeric, and to be honest with you, a little bit of carrot powder. When I first started out making my own colors from natural fruit and veggie powders, I only bought carrot powder because I thought that's orange, that's going to work. Carrot powder by itself is so light. It is so crazy light. So we're going to open this and we're just going to add a little bit of turmeric powder and just kind of mix as we go. Well, let's see what this does. I don't have a recipe for orange. It's dependent on how much I'm making, but I do want it to be rather a vibrant orange. Sometimes I'll even add, if the mood strikes me, a little bit of red oxide powder. And of course, turmeric powder just flung everywhere over here. Decorating and baking is messy. It just gets messy. That's for sure. Okay, well, this is like achieving an orange color. I think I'm going to keep going with the turmeric. This is why it's so hard to put together an actual recipe because it's going to have to do with whatever shade you like. This is just real life baking over here, real life decorating. Well, this is kind of a really like peachy orange. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more. Ooh, I put a lot of turmeric in there. Let's see what happens. It's going to look great or it's not going to look great. You know what? I'm going to call that good. This is going to be the flame to our candles. And again, we're just using Pastries for Pets Rockin Hard Frosting. And this is going to be good. I am settled with that. Done. And our pink didn't turn out very pink. So I'm going to add a little bit more dragon fruit powder. And this is dragon fruit powder that I prefer is by Nature Restorer. I tried Suncor. Suncor really clumped up on me, like clumped bad. And soon after I bought it. What a bummer. But it's so pretty. This is such a happy color. I'm going to go for actual real, like just pink, pink, pink. It's so cute. Nature Restore, always powdery, never lets me down. Love Nature Restore. Okay, this is getting a little pinker. I probably should have put more. And these powders are messy. They really are. So be prepared. Like I have a rainbow going on in my hands right now. It's pretty, but a rainbow nonetheless. So when you add your powder, you might need to go back and add a few more drops of water just to regain a thinner consistency because the fruit and veggie powder will soak up the liquid that you put in here. Okay, I think this is looking fine. Looking good. Again, if you have any clumps in your powder, try to break those up before you start mixing in your liquid, and then really try to break them up. Because if you're going to be putting these with any kind of frosting tips, cake tips, sometimes those clumps will clog your cake tip, and those are just no fun to get out. No fun, I tell you. All right. Again, I don't know why. What possessed me not to get a spoon? Who knows? So now I've got butterfly pea powder, and the butterfly pea powder I use and I love is by Ancient Choice. It is very affordable. And I love the color. This has never done me wrong. So when I find something I like, I stick with it. I just stick with it. I think we're going to need to be adding just a little bit of water for all of these, just a small amount, so they flow out of the cake tip pretty well. Trying to get all those lumps out. It's coming out cute, coming out good. I'm happy so far. Now, of course, when you're using natural colors, you're not going to get as vibrant of a color usually as with synthetic colors. But still, all natural is my game. It's my jam. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of color sometimes, just for the sake of being natural. All right, I'm done with that. The one color, though, I really miss is turquoise. I cannot, for the life of me, achieve turquoise at all with natural fruit and veggie powders. It's kind of a bummer. If you achieve turquoise, please let me know. I remember when I was just starting out, I asked another dog treat group, I really want to make turquoise. I'm having no luck. What should I do? I said I wanted to use all natural veggie powders or fruit and veggie powders. And they said, well, just mix blue and green veggie powders. If you've ever done that, you'll know you don't come out with turquoise. It's like not a thing. I am satisfied with this green. It's on the lighter side, but that's all right. So now that we have all of our colors going on here, this powder, I tell you, gets everywhere in every nook and cranny, as you probably know. But it's fairly easy to work with. Once you get the hang of it, really it is. I found some more dragon fruit powder in my measuring spoon, so I'm just going to mix it in, give it even more of a vibrant pink. Okay. Looking good so far. I'm only going to add white icing or the icing on this middle layer first, because if I do the whole thing and I start sprinkling my sprinkles, it might get up here. And this is where I want the candles. So I just do the middle part first. And of course you can pipe this on using a pastry bag and tips and everything. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I find it is just easier to take a knife and honestly just sort of paint it on. It's a quick way to do it. So I think I'm going to do that here. Easy enough. Then you don't have to worry about filling a bag or washing a tip or getting icing out of a tip. So it goes on pretty easily with just a knife. And if you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of equipment, or you don't have a lot of time necessarily, sometimes this is just easier. These are coming out pretty good. Would it have been easier to pipe these on? I don't know, because I'd still have to go with a knife and I'd have to spread it flat. If it's a really elaborate cookie, I'll do that with a pastry bag, where I'll outline it and flood it. But for some reason, I don't want to do that here. Last cookie. I love how accessible making dog treats is. I like it that, yeah, you need a little bit of special tools and equipment, but for other things, it's as easy as just spreading things with a knife. I remember I was so intimidated by some of the videos I would see on Instagram. Lovely, beautiful videos, cake decorating, cupcake decorating, cookie decorating. I thought, whoa, these people have it together. And slowly but surely, I began to decorate myself and my skills improved over time. But I'm not a pastry chef. I do know that. However, some people in this group are, and they do amazing work. And every time I see their stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, should have gone to pastry school. Okay. Now we're at the point where we're going to start adding our sprinkles just to this middle layer right here. These are all sprinkles that I make, and I put them in these little deli containers, and they come out really good. I mean, I love the vibrancy of them, especially the dragon fruit ones, the ones made with turmeric. These were made with spirulina. And then, of course, we've got blue, and this is butterfly pea powder. When I put them all together, because sometimes I do, and then I make rainbow sprinkles. So okay, so I think for this one, I'll do pink. So I'm really just going to come in here and sprinkle it right on. That's all this icing was for, was just to act as glue for these sprinkles. So it doesn't have to look perfect. It's all hidden with these sprinkles. All right, the first one is done. I'm like, but there's always room for more sprinkles. Kind of funny. All right, pink sprinkles, done. And just like the dragon fruit powder and the different fruit and veggie powders, sprinkles have a way of, getting out of hand. I don't know. They just do. We'll make a yellow one. Yellow is calling my name. And I just press the sprinkles right in there because at this point I can feel that the frosting is starting to dry just a bit. There we go. And now that one's done. And the last one we will do is we'll do a rainbow sprinkle. This isn't quite big enough, so I'm going to use a bowl to catch the sprinkles. I'm just going to press them in. Don't wait too long to do this or your frosting will get harder. This is looking cute. Maybe I can just press them in. Adding happy birthday cookies to your lineup is a no-brainer in terms of revenue stream because everyone has birthdays for their dog. I mean, I don't know about everyone, but people who are buying from you are treating their dog. They're those people. They're those customers that would have a birthday party for their dogs. And what better to celebrate than a happy birthday cookie? It lasts a long time, unlike a cake, which is perishable. These cookies are dehydrated. They will last a long time. You can make several of them. The presentation is really cute too. It's like a gift. So even, if it's not their birthday, they probably know someone's dog who's having a birthday. Maybe it's their grand dog or their friend's dog or who knows. Okay, so now we have the rainbow sprinkle cookie and that is done. Sprinkles go right back in the container. So now we've got 3 cookies ready to go. Next is to add white icing on the top or white the frosting on the top. And for this, you do want this to be thin and I probably will pipe this on. It's starting to thicken. So add a few more drops of water to thin it out. Stir it really good. Try to scrape the sides too because it will start crusting on the sides. I like to keep mine covered if I'm going to be working for a while. I'll keep this all covered with plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out. I was trying to avoid doing this, but alas, I must get my hands dirty. And maybe just a little bit more water. Sorry for this loud noise there. Okay, I like this. And I'll get my pastry bag and glass. And I'll probably use a number 3 on this. I don't know how you guys fill your bags. I know there's all different kinds of ways to do it. I've seen a lot of different videos, but I'm pretty simple. I'll just take my bag and put it inside my cup, make a cup and fold it over the top, pop in the little adapter. This little guy right here, right in the very bottom. I should have done that first. Just kidding. Let me do it first. And I don't cut it yet because if you cut it and then you try to fill it, it gets everywhere. I'm not working with very much, so I want to make it all count. Okay, that should be good. And then I scrape it down to the bottom. I'd love to know how you guys do this. I'm only going to be using the one tip. I'm not going to be using any other tips. A secondary bag wasn't really necessary. And then I'll just give it a quick tie. You can see the icing start to go to the end. That's kind of cool. You know, the funny thing is I'm still going to use a knife to even this out. I actually have quite a lot on here. Oh my goodness. Woo-wee, I got a lot of frosting. That snuck up on me. You ever have those moments where you're like, I can hide that? I do. I certainly do. I'm just looking to create a white canvas so that my candles show up. Just trying to get this finicky little bit. Okay. I'm cool with that one. I'm just making some happy birthday cookies and wondering what you guys have for dog birthdays. What do you sell? Is it mainly cakes? Do you do cupcakes? Have you got cookies? I'd offer party favors. And I can't wait to do some party favors here where it uses those long mist cookie boards and you put in some paws, a bone that stamp that says happy birthday, a little party hat, lots of sprinkles, of course. All right. I think my icing was a little bit lumpy. I should have got more of the lumps out. But you know what? I'm rolling on. Okay. Now they're all done. And the next thing to do is candles. So now we're going to put candles on these bad boys. And we'll do pink for pink, and it needs more water. Where did my water go? So constantly adjusting as we do. We adjust. So when I did baking buddies, these were at the same time every week. I think it was like 10 o'clock on Tuesdays, something like that. Let me know if you guys would like something like baking buddies again, because that's what I'm thinking about doing. It was so much fun. And for the candles, I'll use it too. I don't even need an adapter. I'm just going to put I'm going to put the insert right in the bottom of that. I go back and forth. Okay. And then over the cup, I'm not making that much of this. This is only for this one cookie. As you can see, there's hardly anything in this bag. Makes me wish I had a smaller bag. By the time the frosting gets down there, it's going to fill up the tip and I won't be able to squeeze it out. I guess I could have made this a slight bit pinker. But we're just going to make the candles here. And then when you bring it up, stop before you get to the top, because we need to take into consideration the flame. And the flame takes a little bit of room. Next time I think I will use a 1. Well, the good thing about icing is that it can sometimes be corrected if you have little tools like I do. You can kind of reform it a little bit. Normally, I would say wait until the white icing dries before you put your candles on, but I didn't. I did not. So pink candles are done, except for the flame. And now we're going to work on blue candles. And I hope I have enough. And it needs more water. So if you find that your pastries for pet stuff is drying out, just add a few more drops of water to thin it out. I cannot wait to share with you the carob recipe that I have. That is a carob glaze that does not use any carob chips. It will not melt. It leaves a shiny glaze that is beautiful. If it stays out for too long, like I've had this dog bone I have with this glaze for a year and it's starting to crack a bit. But other than that, it lasts a very long time. And the main thing is it does not melt. And it's a beautiful glaze. I'm just going to fill this again. I have to say, this is probably my least favorite part of decorating, is making the icing and filling the bags. I just want to get to the decorating. Can you relate? Thanks for hanging out with me today as we make dog treat stuff and you're doing what you're doing. And it's just kind of fun. I mean, if we're all making dog treats, we can all hang out together. Why not? God bless those air bubbles. Just slide your frosting down to the tip. And once you cut a hole, it'll start to ease out a little bit better. Cut off the tip. And we're making 5 candles and stopping before we get to the top so we can allow room for the flame. The consistency of the blue butterfly pea powder is much nicer than the dragon fruit currently. Ooh, that last candle. That last candle got away from me a little bit. Here's what we have so far. And then we'll do the same color because we have enough. Okay, candles on the rainbow sprinkle cookie are done. This is looking good. So far, this is looking great. Now we just have the orange, which as it's drying, this is really coming out a nice shade of orange. I was kind of surprised. But we do need to add water. This is totally hard. Decorating is a messy business, people. It just is. We're going to thin this out. This is the Pastries for Pet Rockin Hard Frosting, as there was no real need to do an icing. And besides, this dries the quickest of all of their products. That's one of the reasons I really love to use it. We'll need one last pastry bag. And into this, we're going to put out a number 1 tip and number 1. And that's just a real small tip. And it allows us to make a real small flame. You can work with small bits of frosting, but you have to have more than the tip will hold. Otherwise, it will just pool in the bottom of your tip. Or if you like, you don't even have to put a tip at all, which probably should have been the choice for this one. You don't really even need a tip for this kind of thing. So now we've got our icing in there, our orange icing, and we're going to slide it down to the bottom of the bag. Rinse and repeat kind of thing. We've been doing this. Now the candles, you lay the icing in a dot and swipe it away so it leaves like a little tail or a little trail or a tip. I don't touch the top of the candle. I leave like a tiny little bit of a space. And those are the flames. Yep. What a cute happy birthday cookie this is. Look at that. How simple and cute. So we're just going to repeat this with the rest of our cookies. I hope you're offering something for dogs' birthdays. They're so popular nowadays. And I'll show you my packaging. My packaging makes a cute little presentation as well. So there we are with that one too. Now we've got all 3. So we'll put these off to dry. And I have one that I've already made, and I'm going to show you how you can package and present this. I have a 12-ounce deli container that I got on Webstaurant store. They may have a restaurant store in your town. It's not. This is what I go for. This is made by Genpack, and it has a hinged lid and it closes. Like you might find a to-go salad or something like that in this. I put a 1 gram desiccant packet by Dry and Dry in the bottom. I've got a lot of shred, but this is my very, very favorite brand, Magic Water Supply. You can see here, Magic Water Supply. There's another brand that I've used before, but I did not like the way the shreds felt. They almost felt heavy, like they were light, but they were almost greasy or something. It was kind of weird. So to this, I take some shred and I just fill the bottom with shred. If you have any of the shred that hangs over the sides, it makes it hard to close. So I just come and I give it a little haircut so everything stays inside. And you can just put the extra right back in there. This is going to give cushion for the cookie if you want to ship it. It will also provide a barrier so you can't see the desiccant that I placed in there. Let's reverse this. Let's take this out, take this out. Let's put our stickers on first. It's a lot easier to put stickers on first. So the way this is made, it's got the front right here, which is a perfect place to put a happy birthday cookie sticker. These are like 1 inch by 3.5 inch, something like that. These come from online labels, and it's just the perfect place right here in front to put that sticker. So there we've got the very front. In the back, I've got a pink cookie, happy birthday cookie. With my ingredients, my guaranteed analysis, everything is there. I would normally stamp this best by date before I put it on, but I didn't. I'm just going to feed this to my dog or my neighbor's dog. So that's where this goes. And then on the very front is where I like to put my business logo or my business name right here in the lower left. Is a 1 inch circle sticker. Okay, so all the stickers have been placed on the packaging. Now it's time to add our desiccant pack, our shred, and you can make these up ahead of time. Really easy just to make these up ahead of time and stack them. I might not put the bottom label because you don't know if you're going to have a blue cookie or a pink cookie or a rainbow sprinkle cookie, and you may have different labels for these. This is universal. It's a happy birthday cookie. I already know how much it weighs, so I already prepare it with that, and I prepare it with that. And then all that's left to do is put your cookie in. See how cute that looks. Package it up. And this is ready to go on your table at your dog treat booth. That's it. These sell for $6.99. I think that's because it's a whole package. If this was just a regular cookie, I might sell this just for $6. Actually, I do sell it for $6 if it was just a regular decorated cookie. But with the packaging, I need to recoup my cost on the container, the shred. So that's what I do. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here. And I hope you guys have learned something. If not, maybe you've just had a fun time hanging out.